All right, I'm going to take you on a trip to Mound City, Ohio here. Mound City is in Chillicothe, Ohio, and this drawing that you see here is a survey drawing from 1846, I believe, published in the 1848 book known as Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley by Ephraim Squire and Edwin Davis. I believe it was the very first book published by the Smithsonian Institution. Again, that's 1848. So the survey drawing you see here is of structures built by the ancient Hopewell Mound-builder civilization of North America. This structure is in Chillicothe, Ohio, where a lot of Hopewell Mound-builder structures are. And I visited it back in 2015 and 2017, so I'm just going to show you a little bit of footage from what I took while I was there. So when you first drive into the place, you'll come from the southwest side and you'll see this little mound here outside that sets just to the west of the west entrance of the structure. And here's the structure. You're looking at the northwest corner. I'm going to pan around here so that you can see the mounds that are inside. Again, these are Hopewell burial mounds. You'll find skeletons and artifacts of the ancient Hopewell civilization buried inside these mounds. Sometimes there's a lot of skeletons and sometimes there's just a few. That was the west entrance, and now you can see the southwest side. And as you notice, I was right by the entrance. I'm going to back up the hill a little bit and give you a better view from a higher perspective. So again, we're looking at the northwest corner, but I'm just standing a little higher in elevation. And this is from the 2017 footage. I was able to get there in the morning where I could get some nice shadows on the mounds. Because in 2015 I was there probably around noon, so you couldn't really see the shadows very well, but you can see the shadows on that far south berm there. Give you a little bit of an idea of how big this place is. All right, now I'm inside, giving you a perspective from inside. And here I was standing on top of one of the mounds, but you're not supposed to do that. I didn't see this sign when I walked in, or if I did, I blocked it out of my mind. Anyways, don't walk on the mounds. Stay off. And to give you an idea of how big this place is, you're going to see a man walking along the sidewalk here in just a second. There he is. Look how big that tree is in the background. And then if you look further in the background, you can see two people walking behind that tallest mound back there. And it just gives you a good idea of just how big this place is. And in case that wasn't enough, there's me. And you can see me walking out towards the mound. And I'm getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You're going to need to get your glasses on or start squinting or get a magnifying glass or something, because I'm going to get pretty tiny here. But yeah, just go out there. You can see me walking around. Heading over towards the left there. Disappear behind a mound. I'm going to come walking back, and you're going to see me go between that largest mound and that long mound. There I am, walking in between those. And then I'm going to come around out the other side behind the long mound. You can barely see me there. Anyways, these are big mounds. And there's also a museum there, a little museum where you can see artifacts. What you're looking at here is a copper axe head. The Hopewell were experts in copper. They made weapons, tools, armor, jewelry, and a lot of other things out of copper. There are ancient copper mines up in Michigan and also in Tennessee that have been dated back to and before the Hopewell time period. We know that the Adena Mound-builder culture, who existed before the Hopewell Mound-builder culture, also mined and were experts in copper. But weapons that you won't see in museums are swords. Hopewell knew how to make swords. They had swords made of copper and iron. You'll find several artifacts inside the little museum they have there, but what you're looking at here is a copper breastplate. Hopewell would use this as armor to protect their heart and lungs and chest area. You can see the holes there that they would lace leather or something through to fasten it to their bodies. And like I said, the Hopewell not only made weapons and armor and tools and things like that out of copper, they made them out of iron. This is an old picture here that you'll find in a book called The Scioto Hopewell and Their Neighbors. The Scioto is a name of a river in Ohio, and it actually runs right through Chillicothe in the area where there are a lot of Hopewell settlements in Ohio. But again, the Hopewell are all over the eastern half of the United States and Canada, not just in Ohio. But if you pay attention to the footnote down there, it mentions how this team of excavators found 69 copper and iron celts. A celt is almost like an axe head, but thicker. Then you'll also notice they found over 92 copper and iron breastplates. Now, what some people believe is that they gathered their iron artifacts from raw iron meteorites that fell from space. And I guess that's one way they could have done it. But what you'll notice here, this is an iron axe head found in a ceramic mold in Ohio. This was found by a man named William Connor, and he's done a lot of research in the eastern United States and Canada on the smelting of metals in ancient America. They had furnaces and they knew how to smelt. William Connor has found over 30 ancient iron furnaces buried under Hopewell mounds just in Ohio alone. He's found fragments of other ceramic molds. He's found rocks near the furnaces that have glazing dripped on them, which doesn't happen in nature. You can read about his research in his book called Iron Age America, Before Columbus. Now, I didn't have a lot of time to spend in Chillicothe, and so after I visited Mound City, I took off to the west to go visit some other ancient Hopewell sites, but along the way, I just had to stop here. This place is about 15 miles west of Chillicothe, Ohio, and it's called Seip Mound, and pretty much all that's left of it is that long oval mound that you see in the middle there. I noticed it from the road driving by, and I had to stop and check it out, even though I was racing the sun to get to other areas before the sun went down. And here's some footage of me heading towards the mound, and you can see I'm just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. This is one of the biggest Hopewell mounds. The Adena Mound-builder civilization made really big mounds, but for Hopewell, you're usually not going to find them that big. This is an interesting artifact excavated from that particular mound, Seip Mound. It's a Hopewell copper breastplate, but it's covered in pearls. The Hopewell loved pearls. And you can still see this artifact today. It's up at the Ohio History Center in Columbus, Ohio. There's a lot of other cool Hopewell artifacts there, but like I mentioned earlier, you're most likely not going to find any iron breastplates or iron axe head or iron celts or swords of any kind in museums because mainstream academia doesn't like to admit that ancient Native Americans had the ability to smelt metals. And also they don't like to admit that they had the ability to create swords. But when you do the research, you find that the Hopewell were a very advanced civilization And I personally believe that they are the people mentioned in the Book of Mormon called Nephites and Lamanites, who were a group of ancient Israelites who came over to ancient America around 590 BC and had a thriving civilization here for about 1,000 years. Some of them believed in God and Jesus Christ, while others didn't. Sometimes they were at peace among themselves, but most of the time they were at war. And eventually the Nephites got so bad that the Lamanites destroyed them in war in what is now the state of New York around approximately 400 AD. Archaeologists confirm that the Hopewell were gone by the 400s AD in New York, and various Native American histories will tell you that the mound builders were destroyed in New York, and there wouldn't be another mound building civilization for about another 400 to 500 years around 800 or 900 AD, who were very different from the Hopewell and very different from the Adena. They're called the Mississippian mound builders, and according to Native American histories, the Snake people, or the Mayans, came up from the south into the southern United States and enslaved a lot of tribes and started building mounds, pyramid-shaped mounds, kind of like the Mayan pyramids that you see down south in Mexico and Guatemala. Anyway, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed my brief little video showing you my trip to Seip Mound and also to Mound City. Again, these are in Chillicothe, Ohio, and just west of Chillicothe, Ohio. If you ever get the chance to go out there and explore, give yourself a lot of time, because there are a lot of places to explore, even just right there in Chillicothe, which again, I didn't have the time to explore all around there. But I am glad for what I did get to see, and I hope you enjoyed what I got to share with you today.